Welcome everyone, this is On Just Restart, and this time we're talking about Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. More specifically, Bowser's Fury. That's what I'm excited about. I had 3D World back on the Wii U, I experienced it fully. Sure, there's some nice quality of life changes, but for someone like me who's already played through the game, it's not really enough to get me to buy the game again. However, depending on how extensive Bowser's Fury is, that may be what it takes for me to double dip. So today we're going to try to figure out, or at least get some sort of ballpark estimate of how long in terms of gameplay hours this new mode or new adventure is for Bowser's Fury. That's what we're focusing on today. Now before we jump into things, let me quickly talk about my social media. There's a Twitter page, a Discord community, a Patron page, and a Twitch channel. If you are interested in any of that, check it all out, it's linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, subscribe. So taking a look at the different pieces of merchandising and marketing we've seen for 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, it's definitely clear that Nintendo is hardcore pushing Bowser's Fury. It's taking up like half of the marketing here. For example, if you look at the Nintendo of Japan official website where they cover 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, it's literally half the page. It covers half of the entire page here, which is pretty cool. If you take a look at the box art for 3D World plus Bowser's Fury takes a significant chunk of the box art here. They're not treating this like just a small little bonus piece to the game, but rather an additional adventure. Sure, they are telling us that this is a shorter adventure, absolutely. No one's expecting Bowser's Fury to be comparable to the main game that is 3D World, no. But they are definitely suggesting it is something fairly extensive, at least enough to the point where it's a huge part of their marketing. A lot more than they marketed Future Connected for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition or the Olimar and Louie missions for Pikmin 3 Deluxe. For a lot of people, Bowser's Fury is the most exciting part of this package, it at least is for me. So just based off the way Nintendo's presenting Bowser's Fury, it does lead me to believe that this is going to be something that's a little bit more than just 1 or 2 hours. But it goes beyond that. We've seen them talk about how this game is basically an additional adventure. You can pick Bowser's Fury from the very beginning, you don't have to play through 3D World to unlock Bowser's Fury. But just taking a look at the gameplay from what we've seen, you explore around this open environment, Lake Lapcat, and there's a few different islands where you can collect different shines as Fury Bowser seems to slowly build up until it comes out fully and it starts attacking and devastating the world. It changes the environment and you have to react to that. So that mechanic in and of itself creates a fair bit of variation, and that can kind of extend the gameplay. However, my initial impression of the first trailer for Bowser's Fury was that once you finally unlock the big bell where you can evolve or turn into this giant version of Cat Mario, that at that point you would fight Bowser and defeat him, and that would be the end of the mode. But fortunately, that is not the case. There is more to it than just that. So taking a look at the Nintendo of UK website, they said some interesting things about Bowser's Fury. Just let me read these couple little paragraphs here. As you search high and low for the cat shines, the evil-looking Fury Sun will slowly rise out of the lake near the island that you're currently on, suggesting that there are multiple islands. When the weather suddenly changes from sunny to stormy, it's time to get a move on, as Fury Bowser's almost there. Once he emerges from the Fury Sun, he'll summon meteors from the sky and fire devastating fiery beams at you, so take cover. All of that was pretty much clear from the trailer, but let me continue on. While you can wait out the devastation, you aren't entirely helpless. If you've collected the 5 cat shines on an island, it's time to activate the awesome power of the Giga Bell. This gargantuan super bell transforms Mario into Giga Cat Mario, meaning he can fight Fury Bowser in a truly titanic tussle. Defeat Fury Bowser in your massive feline form, and he'll be sent flying back into the water, unlocking new islands for you to explore. Don't spend too long celebrating your victory, as he'll be back. So from this it becomes pretty clear. Once you collect the 5 shines and you unlock the Giga Bell, that's not the final fight of the game. That's just one portion of the game. You go ahead and you fight Fury Bowser, and that knocks him back, pushing back this black goop, this ink that unlocks more of the world. So we're going to be continually doing this. So that trailer that we saw, the initial one, that's basically just one part of the game. Now I'm not saying that this mode is going to be as extensive as 3D World itself, but it's definitely longer than what I was initially thinking, and that alone is pretty exciting. But that still doesn't give us a really good understanding of how long this game is going to be. Is it going to be 2 hours? Is it going to be 4 hours? Is it going to be 20 hours? How long will it actually be? Well, at the very least, I feel like it's fair to say, based off the marketing and also what they said in the different descriptions for this game, is that it's more extensive than just one world we get in 3D World. There are 8 worlds in 3D World, so I feel like Bowser's Fury is at the very least just an additional world, which wouldn't be too bad. So if that ends up being the case, in terms of actual gameplay hours, how long would that actually make the game? Well, if we take a look at the website How Long to Beat, apparently 3D World back on the Wii U, the main story averaged about 10.5 hours. However, the interesting thing about Mario games is that just rolling through all the way to the credits is pretty easy and quick. If you're really trying to get that full Mario experience, you're going to be playing to find all the different secrets, find all the extra worlds, to find the extra challenging parts of the game later on. So the gameplay actually goes a lot deeper if you're looking for that additional challenge. I personally believe that's how most Mario games are intended to be played, to go beyond just the initial credits. So I actually think it might be more fair to compare the main plus completionist side of things here, so we're looking at something closer to 38 hours. But there's also 12 worlds when you include the secret worlds. And obviously not every world is the same here, but if we were to divide 38 by 12, we're looking at about 3 hours. And from what you can tell, this is a very, very inaccurate way of sort of figuring this all out, but it's just giving us kind of a ballpark here. So let's just say, in general, a world in 3D World is about 3 hours when you go to find all the extra secrets and challenges. So then, based off everything we know so far, I feel like it's a pretty good guess to say that Bowser's Fury will at least be longer than 3 hours. I think that's a fair bet. That's what I'm thinking right now. If Bowser's Fury ends up being at least 3 hours, I think I might be okay with that, but to be totally honest with you, in order to buy a $60 game, to buy this game again, I would want it to be a little bit longer. But how else can we really gauge how long Bowser's Fury could be? Well, something I've noticed is that lately Nintendo has been putting out a lot of different remasters or enhanced ports that come in with some sort of additional campaign, like Bowser's Fury. A couple other games that come to mind that had additional campaigns were Pikmin 3 Deluxe and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. With Pikmin 3 Deluxe, we had the Olimar and Louie missions. There were 2 different campaigns. The first campaign, Olimar's Assignment, was only just 4 missions, and each mission can take about 10 minutes or so, so basically the prologue could take you about 30 to 40 minutes. But then for the epilogue, there's actually 10 missions, and from what I've heard, it could take about a couple hours. Basically, it looks like the additional content for Pikmin 3 Deluxe was about 2.5 hours. But how long is Pikmin 3 Deluxe itself? Well, according to this website, How Long to Beat, it's about 10.5 hours. So if we stick to these numbers here, 2.5 hours is about 24% of 10.5 hours. But now let's take a look at Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Apparently this game takes about 50 or so hours to beat. For me, it actually took longer. It took like 60 to 65, but we're going to stick with this website just so we have some consistency here. But also according to this website, Future Connected is 8 hours. 8 hours of 50 is just about 16%. So there's obviously a range here. With these additional campaigns we're seeing for these different enhanced ports and remasters, the range seems to be about 15 to 25% of additional gameplay. So if we lowball things here, simply based off how much content we got with the other campaigns, Bowser's Fury should be about 3 hours. But on the high end of things, Bowser's Fury could potentially be closer to around 5-ish hours, which would place its size something more comparable to 2 worlds in 3D World, which I would say is actually a bit more fair based off the way they're pushing and marketing Bowser's Fury. But of course, that's just the way they're marketing and pushing it. They want us to buy this game, so they might be overselling it a little bit. But basically, to sort of give us a range here, an expectation, or at least my expectation, is that Bowser's Fury is going to be somewhere between 3 and 5 hours. That's what I'm sort of thinking. It's not going to be 1 or 2, but it's not going to be 10 or 15 either. It's going to be 3 to 5 hours, which makes it something more significant than One World in 3D World. Maybe not quite 2, but something comparable to that, which I think would make sense with the way they are pushing and marketing Bowser's Fury. That alone isn't worth $60 to me. However, considering that there are some nice quality of life changes to 3D World, I might actually double dip this time around. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm pretty close with my estimate here, a 3 to 5 hour range? Or do you think it's going to be shorter or later? And depending on what you think, is that going to be enough for you to buy this game? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.